Welcome to our deep dive, where we get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving into an article called Wisdom and Wealth by Frederick Osei-Manu, and it's on Medium. And he makes a pretty bold claim, actually. He says that seeking wisdom, wisdom can be your secret weapon to building wealth. I always get kind of skeptical when someone says, here's the secret.
Yeah.
But the whole idea that wisdom plays a role in your financial well-being is really intriguing to me. What are your initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a thought-provoking concept, right? The article pushes back against the idea that wealth is just about luck or just working yourself to the bone.
Right.
And suggests that wise decision-making is the real driver.
Yeah.
And think about it, we've all seen people work incredibly hard.
Yeah.
But maybe not make the wisest choices with their resources.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hard work alone doesn't mean you're going to be successful. And this article is all about taking action guided by wisdom, not just action. He has this really powerful phrase that Frederick uses. Do not hesitate to start. Do not procrastinate to start. Do not be afraid to start. It really reminds me of standing at the base of a mountain.
Yeah.
And feeling overwhelmed by the climb ahead. But, taking that first step,
right,
even if it's just putting on your hiking boots, it sets the whole journey in motion.
Yeah, it's about breaking down those big, intimidating goals into smaller, more manageable steps, right? So instead of focusing on becoming a millionaire overnight,
right?
What if you just started by setting up a budget?
Yeah.
Or maybe committing to investing a small amount each month.
Sure.
And these small steps, they build momentum.
Yeah.
And more importantly, they give you a chance to learn and refine your approach along the way.
So starting small makes sense. But what about those of us who are already feeling pretty savvy about our finances? How does this concept of, wisdom apply to someone who's maybe a bit further along in their wealth building journey?
That's a great question. And I think that's where the article's insights get even more interesting, right? It goes beyond the basics of just budgeting and saving.
Yeah.
And delves into the deeper aspects of wisdom. Like understanding your risk tolerance.
Okay.
Being able to adapt to changing market conditions.
Yeah.
And even recognizing opportunities that others might miss.
So it's not just about knowing the technical stuff.
Right.
It's about having the insight to actually apply that knowledge effectively.
Exactly, yeah. The article uses this biblical quote from Luke.
Okay.
Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much.
Right.
Yeah. Think about that in terms of your financial decisions.
Yeah.
If you make wise choices with your initial investments, even if they're small, it shows you have the potential to handle larger sums responsibly.
I like that. It's almost like building financial wisdom muscles. You start with the smaller weights.
Yep. Yeah.
And then you gradually increase the load as you get stronger. But Frederick goes even further. He talks about the people you surround yourself with and how that can influence your path to wealth. And he says he was once told to always choose people over money.
Right.
And he quotes Proverbs, "He who walks as a companion with wise men will be wise. But the companions of conceited, dull-witted fools are fools themselves and will experience harm." Now, I know some people might hear that and think, oh, he's just saying to only hang out with rich people.
Right.
But I think it goes a little bit deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's about finding people who share your values, who challenge you to grow, and who can offer different perspectives on how to approach wealth creation. And that's valuable no matter what your income level is. But I will say I can definitely see how being in certain circles could open doors to opportunities you might not otherwise know about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The article suggests that successful people tend to gravitate toward each other.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily about being exclusive, right? It's more about shared interests, common goals, and the ability to learn from each other's experiences.
Yeah, right.
Being part of a network like that can give you access to mentorship, advice, and maybe even investment opportunities.
Yeah.
It's about more than just money.
Yeah.
It's about the knowledge and support that comes with those connections. Right.
So we were talking about surrounding yourself with, the right people. And that makes me think of another point that Frederick brings up. multiplying your resources. And he talks about going from 1 to 10, 100, and all the way up to 1,000. And what really resonates with me about that is you don't need some like massive starting point. You can start small and amplify what you already have.
It's almost like a ripple effect, right?
Yeah.
You start with what you have, whether it's a skill you're good at, an innovative idea, or even just like a small amount of capital.
Right.
The key is figuring out how to scale it.
Right.
How do you take that initial offering and expand it to reach a wider audience? And this article really challenges us to think outside the box and see the potential for growth in what we already possess.
So let's say you've got that seed of an idea or that unique skill. How do you actually multiply it in the real world? I mean, it's easy to say scale up, but what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, think about the different ways we can reach people today.
Right.
The article makes a distinction between old and new markets.
Okay.
Right. So old markets were more about like physical location, your brick and mortar businesses.
Yeah.
But new markets are largely driven by technology.
Right.
And that opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
It's like the difference between having a shop in a small town versus having an online store that can reach customers globally. Technology really has leveled the playing field, hasn't it?
It's been a game changer for entrepreneurs. Suddenly, you don't need a huge upfront investment to reach a large audience.
Yeah.
You can start an online business, build a following on social media, or even just like offer your skills as a freelancer on digital platforms.
Yeah.
The key is to understand how these new markets operate and how to leverage technology to your advantage.
It's about being adaptable and recognizing those opportunities that are emerging in the digital landscape.
Yeah.
But no matter what market you're in, there's one thing that Frederick emphasizes that I think a lot of people struggle with, and that's selling. And he quotes B. Smith, who said, "I have stood on a mountain of no's for one yes."
Oh, yeah.
And, putting yourself out there, facing rejection, it's tough.
Yeah, it's definitely a skill that takes resilience, right? But the article really kind of reframes this whole concept of selling, suggesting it's not about like being pushy or manipulative. It's about effectively communicating the value of what you offer.
Right. It's about building trust, highlighting the benefits your product or service provides, and making a genuine connection with your audience.
Yeah, it's about showcasing your passion.
Yeah.
And believing in what you're offering. And I think that ties back to the idea of wisdom, right?
Right.
If you're truly passionate about something and you've put in the work to develop it, that confidence shines through.
Right.
It helps you kind of weather those no's and keep going until you get that yes.
So it sounds like we've come full circle back to the article's central point. Wisdom is fundamental to wealth creation. But how do you actually acquire wisdom, especially in the context of finances?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The article suggests like seeking out mentors, learning from the experiences of others and being a lifelong learner. You can read books, take courses, attend workshops, and simply like be observant of the world around you.
Right.
Pay attention to how successful people make decisions, how they approach challenges, how they build relationships. There's a wealth of knowledge out there just waiting to be tapped into.
Yeah, it's about being proactive and seeking out those sources of wisdom. But what I find particularly interesting is this idea that wisdom can be cultivated through experience. It's not something you just like download. It's something you develop over time through trial and error, through making mistakes and learning from them.
It's about embracing the journey.
Yeah.
The article emphasizes that wisdom isn't a destination. It's a continuous process of growth and evolution.
Right.
And that can be empowering, right?
Yeah.
Because it means that anyone, regardless of their background or current financial situation, can become wiser and in turn, increase their potential for wealth creation.
I like that. It's not about being born with some special gift or something like that.
Yeah.
It's about, being willing to put in the effort to learn and grow, to seek out new knowledge and apply it in your life.
And the beautiful thing is that, like, the pursuit of wisdom extends far beyond just financial success, right?
Right.
But it can lead to richer relationships, a greater sense of purpose, and a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into wisdom and wealth, I'm curious, to hear your thoughts on the article's conclusion.
Okay.
Frederick kind of suggests that by seeking wisdom, wealth becomes an inevitable byproduct.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that idea?
Well, I wouldn't say that wealth is guaranteed just because you're seeking wisdom.
Right.
I mean, life has a way of, throwing curveballs, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that cultivating wisdom, that ability to make sound judgments and navigate challenges significantly increases your chances of achieving financial success.
It's like having a roadmap and a compass.
Yeah.
Instead of just like wandering aimlessly. You're more likely to reach your destination if you have a plan and the tools to navigate.
Exactly. And just like any journey, the pursuit of wisdom requires ongoing effort. It's not a one-time download. It's a constant process of learning, adapting, and refining your understanding.
So where can someone even start with all this?
Right.
What would you say to our listener who's thinking, okay, I get it, wisdom is important, but where do I find it?
Well, that's where things get really exciting, right?
Yeah.
The sources of wisdom are all around us.
Right.
It's about like being open to learning from various avenues.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe you dive into like books on finance or personal development.
Yeah.
Or perhaps, you seek out a mentor who's already achieved what you aspire to. You can learn from podcasts, online courses, even from observing the successes and failures of others.
Yeah.
The key is to be curious, to ask questions, and to actively seek out knowledge and experiences that can help you grow.
It's like we talked about earlier with choosing the right people to surround yourself with.
Exactly.
Seek out those who inspire you, challenge you, and offer a different perspective on how to approach life and finances. I know, like, for me, some of my biggest aha moments have come from conversations with people who have walked a different path than mine.
Absolutely, yeah. Diversity of thought is so valuable when it comes to expanding your understanding. And don't underestimate the power of reflection, right?
Yeah.
Take time to like step back and analyze your own experiences.
Right.
What worked well? What could you have done differently? These introspective moments can be incredibly valuable in shaping your future decisions.
It's about being a student of life, always learning and evolving. And I love that the article doesn't just focus on, financial wealth. Right. It touches on the broader concept of like a rich and fulfilling life. Ultimately, it seems like the pursuit of wisdom is about more than just money. It's about becoming a better version of yourself.
Well said, yeah. It's about aligning your actions with your values, pursuing your passions, and making a positive impact on the world around you. And when you approach life from that perspective, financial success often follows. But it's not the sole driving force. It becomes a natural byproduct of a life well lived.
That's a great point to end on. So to our listener, as you continue your own journey, remember, seeking wisdom isn't just about, boosting your bank account. It's about enriching your life in countless ways. We hope this deep dive has provided some food for thought and maybe even sparked a desire to, explore the connection between wisdom and wealth in your own unique way. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of knowledge and insights.